10월 19일 오후 7시 유니클로 악셀 솔디어 백동준 SK텔레콤 T1스 어연수 WCS Korea 시즌 3 조근샵 GSL 파이널.
Welcome back to the WCS Korea Challenger League. We had DRG fall to the up and down matches faster than I think anybody has ever fallen before.
Not quite. We had actually live taking a 2-0 series against a player, like even quicker than that, but I think that was the only game that was shorter than the last best of three.
Yeah, I mean, Naniwa barely finished one of his games faster than that back in Blizzard Cup a long time ago. Like, this was the fastest way Savage could have gotten to Codes, and he was not messing around.
Savage going to the Premier League, and we have another mirror match coming your way with the Protoss versus Protoss. We have SOS going up against Avenge here in game number 2 of the day. 3 mirror matches in total before we are going into Terran versus Zerg. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly is going to happen here. I expect the best of 3 to last a little bit longer than the last one, though.
Yeah, I expect so. But you know, with Protoss versus Protoss, anything could happen. I think the only way to kill a Protoss that fast is like a cannon rush or a 2-gate proxy, but SOS has got all smiles here. And looks like they're both messing with each other in the booth, in chat.
I mean, in this scenario, we have SOS definitely being the one that people favor in the votes. Avenge, on the other hand, is a really nice guy and also shows a lot of promise. Like several Challenger Leagues in a row now, he was able to impress us. And went usually to the 3rd round. He lost to Flash, I think in the second or in the first season. I'm actually not quite sure which one it was. I think it was the second one. And now in the 3rd one, he currently is in the position where he can once again take down his opponent and advance to the Premier League. So he has another shot there after defeating Bjorn and Trent.
Yeah. And SOS, on the other hand, 4th place in WCS Korea points, falling down from Codes here, wants to get right back up. And for him, he's got to be feeling pretty confident. He's going to feel like almost like it's easy.
I mean, Avenge took down Trent with the 2-0, and Trent is a lesser-known player for Samsung Galaxy, but he shows a lot of potential, so that was definitely not an easy game for Avenge. Another Protoss versus Protoss. Now coming your way, the WCS Challenger League, Colin Wolf. And to the bottom right of the map, we have starting for Team Startail, the Protoss player called
Startail Avenge.
Avenge with a 50% win ratio in the matchup, 9 maps won and 9 lost, goes up against a highly favored Protoss. To the bottom left of Frost in blue, we have
웅진 스타즈 SOS.
Did anybody ever ask Avenge who he's getting revenge for? Who he's avenging?
I don't think so.
I kind of want to ask him now. I think I will. I mean, not now, because I'd have to go in his booth and interrupt him. He'd probably be kind of annoyed. I gotta work, you know.
We have to ask him definitely at some point. But yeah, we are once again in the 3rd round of the Challenger League, which means whoever wins this best of 3 is going to the Premier League right away. And that's where SS actually came from. He dropped down from the Premier League into the 3rd round of the Challenger League. Avenge made his way through the ranks. He went into the 1st round up against the Protoss player. He took down Trent, the Samsung Galaxy teamer with a 2-0. And then in the 2nd round, he took down Bjorn with a 2-1. Finds himself once again in the 3rd round. Was beaten by Flash in past seasons in the 3rd round. So now he has another shot. And this time, in this matchup, he might be able to do it. But SOS is a strong opponent to face. 33 maps won, 16 lost. Leaves him with a 67% win ratio. There we go.
It's pretty high.
Yeah, pretty high. 67% is actually like nuts. For a player on his level, that is quite insane.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing against the best players in the world, bar none. So, to have any win ratio like above 60, if anybody has in a Premier League above a 60% win ratio against those players, you are looking at one of the best players in the world by it's just a fact. It's not even an opinion.
The only thing is that recently he was not doing this well anymore in this matchup. He lost to San with an 0-2 at IM New York, and he also lost in the Premier League against Trap twice, actually. Just recently, the only Protoss vs. Pro that he won was the one against Huck, and Huck, being a foreigner, is just not on the same level as the Korean players that SOS usually has to face, which is kind of sad, but it's a fact. So at this point, Maybe SOS a little bit shaky in the matchup here, but definitely the player that people will think is going to take the series. But Avenge has surprised us in the past, and SOS is definitely not going to take him lightly.
Yeah, I agree. Now talking about builds here, we have a double gate coming up here for Avenge. He's playing it, a little bit safer, I guess you could say, considering he's making a sentry. So he's not using the double gates to be aggressive, whereas SOS only has one gateway, and as a result has a faster mothership core, so you can use that to scout. But he has less production, and will probably have a faster tech as a result. Only time will tell. And there it is. It's a Twilight Council.
Twilight Council tech coming in for SOS, and that's something that we see just so often these days. You have so many options coming from this. You can go straight into Blink, but we see a lot of Dark Shrine openings these days. Sometimes hidden on the map, trying to surprise the opponent, but even if you just show it to the hallucinated Phoenix, you have the option of just harassing your opponent. You keep him in his main base, you make sure that you yourself are not going to be attacked early on. And Avenge, on the other hand, he's not going to go into any kind of overly aggressive play. He starts his own Nexus here and tries to play the more economical game. Yeah.
And actually the Mothership Core will see this. 2 additional gateways going up for SOS. Starting to look more like we're going to see DTs, and that's what Robo is partially for here. Also good against Blink. He wants to chase down and kill the sentry, and decides to go for probes instead here. He's going to have to leave once the rest of the sentries come out, unfortunately, though.
I mean, an indicator that we're going to see Blink instead of like the Dark Shrine was already how he chrono boosted his warp gate research. He really spent a lot of chrono on that and was trying to get that out. Of course, he kept a bit of the energy for the upgrade itself. Well, there we go, trying to play the Blink style, and Avenge with the hallucinated Phoenix is gonna find out what's happening here, so he will try to get as fast as possible Immortals into the game so they can work against his opponent's Stalkers.
With this Phoenix, he's gonna know everything. He sees the chrono boost as well. No way you can fake that. And it looks like SOS is gonna drop his own Nexus. No, he's got a probe over there. At least waits until the Phoenix is gone before he does it.
And as expected, immediately going straight for the Immortal. He knows that in this scenario, Observer is only wasting time on the robotics. The problem really is that his expansion is so exposed. The Mothership Core, on the other hand, is already here trying to use the Proton Overcharge at the right moment in time, dropping in a few Stalkers before that happens, and trying to buy some time for the first Immortal to come out.
Yeah, he actually will buy enough time for that. And you know what? The thing is, blinking into the main base is not going to be useful now that the Immortals. I mean, he can go for it, but there's so much DPS with all those sentries, the Guardian Shield as well. It'd be a big risk, especially if he takes an engagement at the ramp. And smart, he pulls actually all of his units down, Avenge that is, so that he doesn't get force fielded out. And now if he sneaks around here, though, he could actually surprise him.
Yeah, he's trying to get into the main base, and that's exactly what he does. The Mothership Core already spotting it. The rest of the army comes up the ramp once again. The second Immortal is nearly there. That would help him so much, and here we go. Guardian Shield immediately popped, and SOS moves back. Still no expansion for him. He has a couple of probes mining from the low ground, but this is starting to get a bit iffy for the Wunjing Stars player.
Yeah, had he had the force field ready to block those units of the main, it would have been cool. But now he's going to maybe get a Zealot here, maybe 2. Damaging the second one quite heavily. Yeah, does actually commit to it.
Danger is definitely not over. Oh, the sentry goes down, so no force field on the ramp possible any longer. If he doesn't warp in another one, and that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, and now he needs to go for it. Time Warp goes down first to slow these units. And will he get the forces off? He does get it. Now he can blink in here and pick off some of these units. That's exactly how you want to do this build. Pick off 2 sentries here at the front, maybe. Second one nearly goes down. He's got another force field ready, coming towards the ramp.
No photon overcharge just yet. He doesn't have the energy. Another force field comes in, and SOS with a beautiful timing here, blinking away, trying to take down the Nexus. The photon overcharge is going strong on the high ground. We're only models shooting the second one as well. The Nexus survives, and SOS is beaten back once again. Avenge just barely holding here.
He needed to get that Mothership Core or get the Nexus down before. He could have tried to commit to killing it. He still can, but with the 2 Immortals there, it's going to be iffy.
SOS lost his Mothership Core. He has no high ground vision any longer. He cannot blink onto the high ground.
Yeah, and you know what? He doesn't have a Nexus. It's just started.
Very good position now for Avenge.
Yeah, I mean,
really good spot.
He actually did not. He basically did not make any mistakes when it came to reacting to this. He never overcommitted to one place or another. Was always able to have that flexibility with the Mothership Core. Kept it alive. And with 3 Immortals out now,
he wants the pylon. He wants that pylon, and SOS is trying to defend it as much as he can. The Stalker is moving back here. Nice Blink Micro by SOS, making some good moves, but now he's stuck. and the Immortals are doing so much damage. He needs to blink away. That's exactly what he does. That pylon is going down, and therefore the warp in point for SOS. Avenge has beaten his opponent back. He has held here, and now he has a 10 supply lead. He has the faster expansion. He's going for the double probe production. Great position for Avenge, who's trying to cross the map and putting the pressure on the Wounding Stars Protoss player.
Yeah, I mean, if somehow SOS gets back into this game, I will be so shocked. He does have his own Nexus nearly completed. He did have a worker count for a brief period of time, but that's no longer the case. Sentries here actually going down.
Yeah, and those Stalkers need to be careful on the other hand. Here comes the time warp, and those Immortals are closing the distance, taking them down one by one. 18 army supply against 40. SOS is losing everything here.
GG!
Avenge with a 1-0, taking the lead in the best of 3.
Nicely done. Really patient play. I'm loving how, even though there was a sentry there for a force field, he realized that. He never kept his units in a place where they could be force fielded out of the main, or out of the main base when the units were in the main, where the Stalkers are going to blink in the main. It's hard to explain. Or where he could be force fielded into his main when the units were on the low ground. If he ever had that situation, he had the Mothership Core ready for an overcharge, or in the second case, like very close to being ready, and so he did eventually get that overcharge there, and that's what saved him.
Avenge doing exactly what he did best in the last season. He was killing big names, and yes, SOS the favorite here in the series, but as we said before, Avenge is a really strong player, and he's one that you should never take lightly. Something that SS definitely didn't do, but we just saw why this kid is so dangerous. Avenge with the opening win against SOS, who of course now has still a chance to win 2 games in a row, but that match was really well played. Avenge was not leaving himself open to anything. The force field on the ramp did some damage, but it was never as destructive as SOS wanted it to be. The Nexus didn't go down. Really strong play by Avenge, and a very close game. SOS, on the other hand, he's still high spirits, not pulling a DRG here and looking sad, angry, or annoyed. So he still believes in his chances to go to the Premier League right away. And Yongsu is the map where he has to prove it.
Yeah. Yunsu, a map that's actually pretty good for aggression because it's only two player. It's not as big as Frost, where you have 4 spawning locations, and even if you're horizontally spawned like we saw, the rest is not the shortest. So we'll see if he goes for it again. Avenge, on the other hand, wants to take that 2-0 and go straight into the Premier League. Will SOS stop him? Let's find out right now on map number 2, WCS Korea Challenger League, Calder and Wolf.